Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We were super busy trying to get shoes done and we didn't have time to do a full-fledged resole video this week. So we're just doing an FAQ video. A lot of you guys in the comment section have been requesting one, saying we hadn't done one in a while. So we're coming to you today and just answering a lot of the questions that you guys sent to us. But we have someone here that's going to be helping us out.
Hey guys, I'm Autumn.
All right, my wife, Autumn, is one of the newest team members, and she is actually going to be asking all the questions. And so, let's go.
All right, guys, let's get rolling. We got lots of questions from our viewers. Let's start with this one. What is the worst injury you've sustained in your cobbling careers?
The worst that I've ever had, I think, was when I was using the machine, the grinder, to edge a shoe, and as I was pulling it back, it kind of got sucked into it, and my thumb went into the blade, and it, cut my thumb up pretty bad, and that was a couple of years ago.
Well, how was the shoe though?
I think it fared better than I did.
Mine was probably the insole stitcher. It's a big, thick, heavy needle, and I was stupid and tried to flick some thread out of the way, and I timed it didn't time it very well, and it went right through my fingernail and through my finger. So, yeah.
Let's see. Next question. How did you guys come to the realization that you wanted to be cobbling together? And what is it that you enjoy so much?
Well, we did a video on that about a year ago, which you can watch. It kind of tells our background story. But, we started off kind of a pickup delivery shoe shine service in Nashville, and Heath was learning how to make shoes on the side just kind of as a fun hobby, and we just kind of joined together, bought out a shoe repair business, and that's what we've been doing every day since.
Yep.
All right. This is something we've been working on, hiring more people. What should be done to attract young people to become cobblers to secure the future of your trade?
The trade has changed so much. You have to approach it in a completely new way. And we figured that out when we were in a very affluent area where there was a lot of businessmen with a lot of nice shoes. And we even saw that start to dip when people started to go, kind of business casual and wearing sneakers with suits.
I almost think you have to have an edge nowadays. And I don't mean an edge ahead of somebody. What I mean is, we found YouTube. There's some other shoe cobblers out there that you guys watch that have found YouTube. Mm-hmm. And that has helped all of our businesses to boom in comparison to a lot of the mom and pop shops that you're going to see down the corner in some small town. I think a lot of those are barely hanging on, unfortunately. And it's just because so many things have changed and because there's not anyone young really wanting to do this business. So I almost think, at least where we're at now, in shoe cobbling, you almost have to have
an angle.
Yeah.
Kind of goes back to another question we had from a gentleman. Can an aspiring cobbler make a living from just local business in a smaller town?
It depends where your local business is.
Yep.
If you're in a more rural area, it's going to be a little tougher.
Yeah.
Just because the way that a lot of shoes are constructed, if you get a lot of work boots, it's going to depend on if those are molded soles or if they're, Danner boots that are, Goodyear welted. If they're welted, sure. But those rubber soles on those work boots are going to last a long time. So your chances of seeing that return customer soon is probably going to be a lot slimmer.
In short, I think you have to be in a big city.
Yep. And
you have to be one of the best in that big city. You build a reputation as being one of the best. And maybe you're especially with a lot of older people, orthotics. It's something we don't do because we just don't need to at this point. But orthotics is, I've heard from other cobblers around the country that said, hey, business was going slow. We got into building up orthotics on shoes. And that's kind of where we found our niche and our business grew. Yeah. So again, you just have to find what works for you.
All right. I think you answered a lot of different viewers' questions with those answers. Okay, so let's kind of jump over to some personal questions we've gotten. So what's your favorite type of bourbon, guys? We see you drinking. I know the viewers see you drinking from time to time.
So I don't pretend to be a
Connoisseur.
of bourbon. I just really got into bourbon drinking probably 2 years ago, and a lot of my buddies were drinking it. So I've kind of learned along the way through them and watching bourbon YouTube videos and stuff and just trying different bourbons myself. I tend to be one that likes kind of I don't know how you'd say it, like the lighter bourbons.
I mean, I like a whole bunch of different types. Something that's a little bit more mellow that you can sip.
Yeah.
It's not a very harsh aftertaste.
Yeah.
Those were my college days when you just mix it with a Coke and, but now, I mean,
my palate is getting used to some of the stronger bourbons. A lot of my buddies, like, hey, try this one, Old Forester, whatever. And sometimes I'm not quite ready for those. It hits pretty hard. So like he said, I'm kind of more mellow, drop a cube of ice in there maybe and just sip on it.
I really got into Eagle Rare. That was really good. Pretty much anything coming out of Buffalo Trace is good.
Yeah.
But also I like a good Tennessee whiskey too. So
Naturally. Okay, one more personal question before we get back to business. A lot of the viewers know y'all have lived all over the world. One viewer asks, which is your favorite country while you were living abroad?
Germany.
Lived. Yeah, as far as the countries we lived in, I would say Germany was my favorite.
We only lived in two, outside of the U.S. So.
Yeah, we lived on the German-Holland border, the Netherlands. So we got to see those two countries the most. But outside of that, if you're referring to touring, God, it's hard. Greece was a pretty country. We've been to the Scandinavian countries. Those are very pretty. I feel like so many countries are pretty in their own way.
Everything's got something about it that makes it awesome.
Yeah. So it was hard to say. I loved Italy.
My three favorites within Europe was probably going to be England, Germany, and Italy. So you're going to kind of catch all of them going up. Yeah.
They all had something very cool about it. I mean, we got to see most of the Western European countries and spend a lot of time in all of them, as well as some of the Eastern. So
countries are beautiful.
It's hard to say. We enjoyed our time over there.
So a lot of people are asking, what is the oldest piece of machinery you guys still work on all the time?
This was another video we did where Heath did a tour of all of our machinery. So we'll also put the link to that video where you can check it out. But which one again is our
the Landis? This one, right?
You don't have to show.
There we go. It's a Landis line finisher, and I'm pretty sure it's from the 1940s, 50s. It's got a bunch of model numbers that I've been trying to look up, but from what I understand, it's kind of 40s and 50s.
There are a lot of questions on repairs and how to take care of your shoes, which we've got lots of videos on those. But when you're fixing a pair of shoes, what would you say is the biggest thing that amateurs get wrong when re-gluing a midsole, just with basic repairs? When y'all are refixing repairs that have been done previously, what would you say you have to repair most often that is done?
I mean, when you say amateurs, I'm guessing people either tried doing it themselves or just other shoe cobblers that have kind of messed up on things. I mean, the ones that jump out at me, they just glue everything and put a lot of glue. So when we try to get that glue off, or when we try to get those soles off, even if we use a lot of glue thinner, it's almost so glued on that it's ripping the welt as we're trying to get it off.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of messed up welts where they've had them resold somewhere. The previous cobbler or whoever did them didn't pay any attention to the welt before they put the new sole on, and half the welt's hanging off in certain parts of the shoe.
Three things of stitches in the welt.
Yeah. Those are just two that pop out.
Okay. To kind of follow that question, we had a gentleman ask this. I know a lot of our viewers, I see comments, they're all really inspired by what you guys do. And so they're trying to work on their own shoes or learn the trade. He asked, what would be a good shoe for a beginner to attempt a restoration on? Also had some questions on what's your most basic or easiest repair that you do most often. Maybe that would be a good starting place.
I mean, if you can get it off, just a beginner would probably be a leather-soled cement constructed shoe, just because there's no stitching involved.
Possibly. I was going to say that too, but here's the reason. The reason a cement constructed is I think the welt is so loose on those. It's just kind of put on there that a beginner, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to pull it off and it's going to rip that welt off.
Yeah.
I personally
and then trying to get a good seal back under it without stitching it is really tough.
I think the easiest shoe, and this goes back to a question I remember reading the other day, a guy, and it maybe go back to the question you said, what pair of shoes or what brand is the easiest to work on? Hands down, all day long, I would take Allen Edmonds. I think it's almost like a NASCAR pit crew. It comes in, you can take that thing apart completely, regut it, put it all back together, and I mean, it is the fastest and easiest shoe to work on.
Unless you don't have a outsole stitcher, then it's a 360, so you're going to have to hand stitch it.
If you're doing it from home, man.
Yeah, which if you've got an awl and some, needle and all that, you just throw on a Netflix movie and sit down and stitch it. But
if you've got the tools, like a outsole stitcher,
it's fast.
Easy shoe.
Heath, I know that y'all have done the video on some of your machines and your tools, and you do talk about some of the hand tools that you use. I know I see orders come in from you all the time. We're on our bank statement of old tools, antique tools that you use for working on shoes. What are some of your favorite hand tools that maybe someone starting out could get, online?
Well, a lot has changed in the last several years. When I first started, it was hard to try to find tools because there just weren't a whole lot of makers that were selling them. And it was pretty much eBay, flea markets, trying to, find stuff online, but it's all pretty much still online. But there's a lot of people that are shoemakers that are now selling, new made. They've had them, contractor make them up a small batch of these copies of these old tools. And so, I get a lot of mine now. They're new and I get them from them. Caraducker and London. They sell a lot of great tools and are a great source of information as well. They have a great blog.
Okay, so we're going to have a little fun here. The people want to know who would win in an arm wrestling contest.
Probably Trent.
I haven't done it in a while. I used to be a little more muscular. I'm trying to get back to the gym and work out.
He actually goes to the gym.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning. I get out of bed.
Okay.
I need to get back to the gym.
Okay, so I know you guys have a lot of videos on different brands. You've reviewed shoes, so definitely I'm sure people can check out those videos, and we'll keep answering more questions on those things. But some of these personal questions are fun, and since I'm here today, maybe we should find out how you met your wives. What's the story you tell maybe the parents? Or
parents
the real
at a
story?
Christmas party. The truth, I met her at a bar when we were pretty much right out of college. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't remember actually the first time I met her because
I blew you up.
Yeah, she completely I tried to hit on her and she shut me down. And she doesn't remember meeting me, but I remember it. It hurts still to this day. Stomach.
Yeah, so my wife and I, we met online. I know back when we've been married for 16 years, and 16 years ago is much more of a stigma, like, oh my God, you met your wife online, but now it's super commonplace.
Y'all were the pioneers.
We were the pioneers, and so I just met her online, and we wound up, meeting up, and there you go.
One more fun. I'm having too much fun reading all of these questions. You guys both have really good hair. So the people want to know, what products do you use to style your hair?
Suavis. I've used a lot of stuff. I'll give a shout out to Aaron Marino. I've used his Pete and Pedro, the putty. It's good stuff. I use Suavecito like gel now.
I use Suavecito. I use 1821.
Yeah, good shampoo. I like that.
Yeah, a couple others.
Yeah, but we were blessed with just thick hair from our dad's side of the family.
And I have a sister-in-law that sells hair products, so I get to try new things.
Okay, so are synthetic leathers made of polyurethane or PVC any good? And how is one supposed to take care of a synthetic leather? That's an interesting question.
You got me on that one, man.
Yeah, I'm not very knowledgeable about it. I don't know is they're not going to last as long as real leather.
That's a fact.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. They eventually will break down, and when they break down, they start to peel.
Yeah,
and it's just
we don't deal with a lot of synthetic leathers, unfortunately. So we probably not the best people come to, but I mean, with a lot of things, I would just think, keep a weatherproofing spray on it, and that'll at least prolong, the rain and water and everything else getting to it and breaking it down over time.
Keep it away from heat,
yeah.
dry places.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like the people really like Blanton's. I know you guys drink Blanton. One interesting comment, do you think, or have you ever used whiskey to give a pair of shoes some color? I know we've tea stained things in the past. What do you think about that?
I've never tried it.
That could be an interesting experiment.
Yeah. There's a lot of whiskey colored shoes out there that people ask, hey, what color cream do I use for my whiskey colored shoes? But I've never used whiskey to color leather. So
I don't want to experiment on somebody's shoes.
Yeah.
Or mine.
But maybe we'll do that sometime. Maybe we'll just pour some on there.
Okay, one more question. Let's see, or maybe three more. We'll do a few more questions. So we've had a couple questions. You've done a video in the past where you converted a pair of shoes. You did the golf shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've had a couple different ones. There's a pair of ice skates that somebody would like to have converted into dress shoes, as well as a pair of bowling shoes that someone would like converted into dress shoes. Is there anything coming in the future that you'll know of where you'll be converting, doing some fun conversions on shoes?
We've got the bowling shoes. There was a pair of bowling shoes that were recently sent in. We're going to be working on those. Some of the fun things that we really want to do, especially in the near future, is we're looking for like old shoes. And when I say old shoes, like historic World War II, Korean War, things like that.
I love old shoes, really old shoes.
Sort of like the shoes, the boot video that we did a couple of weeks ago, where it was like the 80-plus-year-old boots. That was probably one of our most fun videos ever.
Pre-World War II, 1940s and before.
Yeah, would be a lot of fun. So if any of you guys have boots from that time period, the 40s prior, let us know.
There used to be a young man when we were actually up at our old shop, and he was in the Nashville area, and he collected old World War II shoes. And he didn't want to just restore them to put them on a shelf. He wanted to wear them. And he used to bring them in, and we did several pair of his. And one of them, we actually were able to ID to the guy who they were issued to.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Okay, let's finish this up with one more question. We found a really good one. Y'all sent in so many questions.
And the questions, don't think because we may have not gotten your answers or your questions this time. These are quick, easy videos for us to do. So we'd like to get back to doing more of these. So if we didn't answer your question this time, we will keep a lot of your questions and hopefully get to them in the next FAQ video.
Okay, well, I think this is funny. A lot of people, not funny, but interesting, a lot of people are having a hard time finding Blantons. Where do you buy your Blantons? Do they have it here locally?
A lot of them aren't on the shelves.
Yeah.
People are trying to collect the letters. And so that's where a lot of people are buying up several bottles of it. And,
the one that we have here at the shop was actually sent to us as a gift from one of our viewers. So we were fortunate there.
Yeah.
I think one of your viewers lives, he says 5 minutes away from where they make it. So
very cool.
Nice.
I know. Lucky guy. What is the most expensive shoes or boots you've worked on?
The most expensive are some bespoke John Lobs.
That we literally did last week.
Yep.
We didn't show them. There's not a video, but
we got some pictures.
Yeah, that was very cool.
The most expensive resole that we've done, we actually did a video over that which we can post.
And I think you guys spoke on this last time, which is kind of related to repair, but why do neither of you resole your personal shoes?
We do. We just, we have so many shoes that.
What do they call the shoe cobbler's kid? He never has.
Shoemaker's children have no shoes.
Yeah, my wife has given me some of her shoes before, like, hey, can you take these to the shop and clean them for me? And I swear I hate it. But like a month later, they're still sitting in the bag over there, next to the cleaning shelf. Just because when we come to work, we're so busy working on all shoes that, by the time I get home, I just, And to Heath's point, we have had a lot of shoe manufacturers sending us shoes since we started this channel. Yeah. So we have so many shoes now.
We rotate them. It'll be years before we ever wear through them.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is a good one to kind of touch on. Last question. What will be the best leather outsole to use now that JR Soles is shutting down? I have high arches. Can or should I use a softer, thicker midsole? Will it conform better and make a deeper footbed?
I would still go with any pit tanned sole.
Yep.
And JR's not, if you haven't heard, JR is just going to switch to another tannery and have them use their recipe. So it's going to be the same JR. It's just going to be JR by Cobbler.
Cobbler, yeah. So they were bought out, but I believe it's, Cobbler.
Which is in southeast Germany, just like east of Munich.
They're going to continue making them.
Yeah, so we don't have those yet. We still have some of the other JR, the original JRs. But other than JR, we have the Baker
out of England,
the Martin Brothers, which is also a German brand. But those are all excellent.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks again, Autumn. And here, hold on one moment, and you can say bye to everybody.
Hope y'all enjoyed the video today. I'm glad I could be a small part of it.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Till next time, y'all have a good one. Okay. We want to answer a few more, and this is going to be the fast round. So I'm going to name 5 more questions really quick, give you really quick answers, and then that's it. That's it. All right. If you were to do a resole straight through and no interruptions, no weird issues, and you do it on a common boot like an Iron Ranger, how long do you think it would take?
Having a shoe that has no issues is a rarity.
Yeah, extremely rare. But if there was absolutely no issues whatsoever, not counting the time it takes for the glue to dry, an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Are there any schools you recommend to become a cobbler?
None that I know of. I know there used to be, and if there are any other cobblers out there that know about them, drop them in the comments below. But I don't think there are any more. No. The best bet is to just team up with a cobbler and apprentice with them, or just, that's about it.
Yep. I know we kind of touched on this one before, but this one goes a little different. This one says, what are your pet peeves from repairing shoes that have been repaired by other cobblers? We answered that earlier, but I'm going to say, what are your pet peeves from repairing shoes that people send into us or other shoe cobblers?
Molded soles and
dirty shoes.
Yeah, and dirty shoes.
Yeah. Guys, if you're going to take your shoes to a shoe cobbler, please be nice and clean them off some. And I get some comments where people are like, well, I'm paying you, therefore you should clean my shoe. No, it's like taking your car to a mechanic and you just went mudding out in it and you expect him to get under there and there's mud on everything. Same thing. We've had some shoes come in here where there's so much mud and caked on dirt that it takes us an hour longer just to get that stuff off of there. And that's an hour of my time that I did not factor into the price. So just, dust off your shoes a little bit. Real quick, from our lady viewers out there, what brands make women's shoes that are high quality, resolable? She mentioned I've bought Red Wing, Meerman, Carmina with success, but some brands cut corners. Almost all women's brands cut corners. We've done videos on this before, so you can check them out. But as a whole, women's brands are not making quality shoes because women as a whole generally tend to buy shoes based upon fashion, not quality, and you change over every year. So they're not going to spend money on quality, unlike guys who buy a pair of shoes or boots and they're going to keep them for years.
And hand them off to their kids.
Exactly. Just one quick other brand that you might want to check out is the office of Angela Scott. I think I've reached out to them before because I was going to have them send us some shoes so we could do a review on it. They make really high quality shoes as well. The office of Angela Scott. Don't know a lot about them, but I've read a lot about them. And
I think they're made in Spain, I think.
Could be.
I may be wrong on that.
Are there any good questions I should ask local cobblers when determining which one would be excellent or not when relating to shoe cobblers. I know the gentleman wrote that comment mentioned that he often looks at reviews, but reviews can be misleading. I'll say this. I think if you go on like Google reviews or whatever, if they have hundreds of reviews or, 50 or more, and you find that, it's 4.7, 4.8 or higher.
It's probably legit.
It's probably legit. I mean, that's a lot of people going on there if they're friends of the cobbler just to make him look good. We've got over 100 reviews on Google and 4.7, 4.8 or higher. And everybody as a whole, if you've been around for a while, is going to have a few negative reviews. I'm telling you, we've worked with customers that we did great work. And then they just, no matter what you do, they're going to leave you a bad review just because some people are crazy.
That's the world.
And so anyways, I think as a whole, my thing again, look at reviews. If you have a guy, shoe cobbler over here, cobbler A, cobbler B, this guy's got 50 reviews, this guy has 2. Well, there's a reason he probably has 2 because he doesn't do a lot of work. This guy has 50 or more because he probably does a lot of work. So read the reviews, go into him. You can ask, can I see some of the resoles you've done? It may be a little weird because I know when people came into us when we had our other shop and said, hey, can I see a shoe? You're kind of, you get offended a little bit because you're like, what are you saying? You just assume I don't do good work. So I get it from an artisan's perspective.
And also ask them for if they use premium leather, because there's some cobblers out there that, like you say, you ask for a JR and they're going to try to talk you out of getting a JR. And it's because they just like, I don't even want to buy the JR. I haven't even thought about marking out a price for something like that. And at that case, I'd be like, no. But if they're like, yeah, we can do that, it'll be X amount more, then that's fine. But yeah, just ask what products you use, and pictures. Yeah, you can look online for people who have posted pictures, or maybe they've got like an Instagram page or something.
Or Facebook or something. A lot of times, they'll post pictures, so you can check out their work on there. So that's that's what I'd recommend. So, all right, guys, that's it this time. That's it. So we'll see you next time.